Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
Yup, Brie Larson tried to warn us. The Eternals is now the most diverse and the lowest rated MCU movie. The director of The Eternals won Best Picture last year. There is no way she fucked it up this badly. So back to Brie Larson. A few years ago she made an 8-minute speech and you should watch the full thing. Basically what she said was that 65% of movie critics are white men and only 5% of them are women of colour. So if you make a movie that's a love letter to, let's just say, women of colour, there's a huge chance that women of colour won't be able to review the movie. And people were mad. This started a huge hate train against Brie Larson and the Captain Marvel character. This movie is not for white men. They know it and they're bombarding it with bad reviews. The user rating is also being bombarded for having queer representation. So listen to women and minorities when they say there's a problem or the problem is going to persist.
You're not racist, you're just mad that Ariel is black because it's not true to the original Danish folklore. I get it, you're a scholar. So you probably hate the original animated film too, right? Because it is nothing like the fairy tale. There's absolutely none of the very blatant queer subtext from the original story because obviously Hans Christian Andersen was a closeted gay man. And Ariel is like his tragic self-insert character because the whole story is really an allegory for him falling in love with a married man who he could never be with because of the rampant homophobia of the time. And the film is so uplifting and it has a happy ending. I mean, in the original fairy tale, Ariel doesn't give her voice away to the sea witch by magic. She has it cut out of her mouth. They took out all of the blood and gore and darkness. I mean, every step that the mermaid takes on land in the original fairy tale is meant to feel like 1,000 needles piercing each of her foot because every bit of this story is about the pain that she's in constantly for someone who doesn't care about her. I mean, changing the ending, what a betrayal. You must be so mad about that. The original folklore doesn't have a happy ending. The mermaid dies and becomes part of the sea because the prince doesn't choose her. Don't worry, I'm not going to keep up the charade that you actually give a shit about any of this. Because people like you only need the tiniest shred of an excuse to be racist. Because not only is Ariel not European, she's Atlantean, she's also completely made up. Even in the original story, she's not European, she comes from under the sea. Guess what? Whether you like it or not, Ariel is black now, so stay mad, bro.
Hey friends, I have found that some people get annoyed when I use the word menstruators instead of girls and women on their period, so let's talk about it. This is Sex Education Nation, and we are an inclusive space of all different types of people. That includes trans people who menstruate, non-binary people who menstruate, intersex people who menstruate. Girls and women are not the only people who get their period, and inclusive language is really important. Ever since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, I've seen a lot more people using the word menstruators and people with uteruses, and that's great. When we use the word girls and women in these conversations, it's excluding those people who have their periods, who are able to reproduce. This is 2022. I can't teach you to have empathy for people who are different from you, but I can teach you to have understanding that gender expression and sex/reproductive organs are not the same thing.
We need to talk about misogyny and gaming. A lot of you know I'm a Call of Duty fan. I've played it since 2010. I follow the Call of Duty Pro scene. Today, though, on Twitter, a former Call of Duty Pro said some fucked up misogynistic shit. He is angry because Twitch is removing gambling content. You're not allowed to gamble live on Twitch anymore. So he's trying to make a connection to bikini or hot tub streamers, and he said this. Saying this, calling them that word, which is super misogynistic. Of course, he's scapegoating young children, saying, they're going to show their body to young kids. Then when some people respond, some people defended him, then he strawmans a little bit and says doing the do on stream, putting microphones in places is not a bikini, which is not what you said you were mad about in the start, Tommy. Then people are, going after him in the comments. He's saying they don't want you, bro, calling people simps, basically. He's defending this for like an hour. Then he finally deletes it, puts out an empty apology, and then digs in, says, my point still stands. It's important we get any NSFW content off Twitch for good. Hassan Piker responded. I don't know if he's trolling or not. But the point is, this guy, Zuma, his content is not family-friendly either, by his own definition. He's constantly talking about using substances. He's telling people to, blank his blank. It's he's not family friendly either, which I don't think is a big deal, right? The things he does, I don't think it's a big deal, but you can't then go after other people just for wearing a bikini or a low-cut shirt, right? That's extremely misogynistic. That's playing into the idea that all women have to do is show a little skin to make it in life, and that's fucking horseshit. His point is that, you know, they took down gambling on Twitch, and so they should take down that too. But gambling is not the same thing as a woman wearing a low-cut shirt at all. Little kids exposed to gambling, finding a streamer that gambles, maybe they have access to their parents' credit card number. Maybe they want to play the same game and they fucking gamble all their parents' money away. Versus a kid sees a woman in a low-cut shirt and maybe he's like, oh, yummy, or you know what I mean? And most kids have looked up shit worse than this anyway. I know when I was 11, and I'll spare you the details, right? Fucking, okay? It's like to pretend, oh, this is about little kids. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're butthurt because they took gambling off of Twitch, and that's something you did a lot. So you're going to be angry at women who wear a low-cut shirt or a bikini. It's gross. It's someone I used to respect, and now I do not. The people who defended him have lost my respect. It's making me question my participation in the Call of Duty community at all. You guys have heard me say this for months and months about how I think the COD community is the most toxic in gaming, most misogynistic, bigoted, xenophobic, racist, homophobic fucking community in gaming. I can't stand it. I hate being a part of it, but I love the game. So what do I do?
The sheer volume of BIPOC people that are saying don't do this should be bringing an end to anybody who is a DM or a player that's white thinking about playing a character that's black. If the blackness or the ethnicity of your character is only for aesthetic, you're cosplaying a marginalized group, and that's really gross. If you want to bring diversity to the game, look around your table, start inviting your black friends, start inviting people of color to play the game. Have your DMs be people of color, so their life experience, what they've been through, they can translate that into the world, and then you'll actually get a chance to maybe get to know them and understand why these experiences make them say, this isn't a good idea. Also, another thought, if you really want to bring literal color to your game, play a blue tiefling, right? Play a blue tiefling. Play an ogre, right? Play an ogre. Like, you want to bring diversity, you're playing a human. Like, you're not even a wood elf? Like, come on. Like, ridiculous. But I digress, just to get back to the point. If you're thinking of creating a new character, don't make them black as an aesthetic choice. Don't make them a BIPOC person to give you an excuse to lean into stereotypes. It's gross. It's bad. It's just reinforcing white supremacy in our game, and we really just need to get this out of our game, please. Also, as a DM, one thing you could think about doing, something that I like to do in my games, is if you look at the monster manual or any of the other books that expressly say any say race on the material plane, like an elf or a dwarf, but like the Duragar or the Drow or whatever, and if it says they're by nature evil, negate that. That shit's dumb. The way I like to play it is any race that naturally occurs on the material plane is by default neutral. That evil is something that is you're not born with. It is something you are taught. So you can still have cults that are evil and things like that, but don't let skin color determine whether something is evil or not, because that is really gross. It's white supremacy, and we need it out of our fucking game. Also, please support players of color and DMs of color. If you find them, celebrate them, stitch them, duet them, pump them up, build them up, because there's a problem with the algorithm.
Una marca que usa la masculinidad tóxica para venderle maquillaje a los hombres, parte 2. Paint quiere dar a entender de manera muy forzosa y estereotipada que su maquillaje es para hombres. Tan así que todos sus productos son de color negro porque una brocha rosada, eso sí jamás. O que sus patrocinios más grandes sean equipos de fútbol. La respuesta que da Warpaint a su producto en sí es que la piel de los hombres y las mujeres es distinta, que la piel de los hombres es más gruesa y produce más grasa. Siendo una respuesta bastante sacada de la manga porque pues si ese es el caso entonces compro productos para piel grasa y ya. Aparte de que Warpaint dice que su objetivo es lograr que los hombres se sientan cómodos con el maquillaje, pero sus productos solo abarcan 5 tonos de piel, cuando actualmente la gran mayoría de líneas de maquillaje tienen incluso 16 tonos. Entonces Warpaint tampoco está pensando en todos los hombres.
I like it, yes, I agree. Oh, shut up, Louis.
You say you don't understand why women say all men, but really you do. You understand that logic because you like guns, right?
True.
And what's one of the first safety tips they give you about guns is treat every gun
Like it's loaded.
like it's loaded, right? Exactly. Even if you know it's not loaded, all guns are loaded, right? That's how you have to, that's how you look at every gun because you can't look at somebody's gun and tell if it's loaded or not. Right? Women are doing the exact same thing because any man could be her assailant. She can't look at a man and be like, oh, that's the good one. So she treats all men like they're potential assailants. The same way we do guns. It's the same.